We are talking football this week on WKRG Sports Overtime's One-on-One, and we are pleased to welcome to the studio here at WKRG Coach Jerry Glanville. You might have seen Coach Glanville around town here the past couple of weeks because this is now, I guess you're almost calling this home because you are here to coach in the Major Football League. You're coaching our team, the Alabama Airborne, but you've been here. Training camp is underway, and you arrived here early July.
I arrived early because I'd been here, I guess, over 35 years coming to the Senior Bowl. I always loved it. Had a chance to coach it a lot of times. And you got to come here for the seafood. If you love seafood, I tell everybody, you got to go to Mobile.
When I first started covering the Senior Bowl back in 1980, I think was my first one, and going to that Seafood Jubilee, I think they called it on Wednesday night. That's all you had to do is get the coaches in line, get some crab claws and some fried shrimp, and they're back forever, huh?
And I got interviewed at that twice and got 2 jobs, so I really liked that. That was a great fun.
All right, you're here to coach in a new upstart league. It's a spring league, but you guys, I guess, are doing a dress rehearsal here in July and August. There will be games in August. 4 cities in the league. Mobile is one of them. You're 80 years old. What the heck are you doing coaching football still?
If we can get one kid a chance to move up, if we can get one person that almost made it and didn't make it, and we can improve on this or improve a little bit on that. Last year in the spring league, we had 3 guys make the Chargers. Well, they were happy. I was happier than they were because that's really why we do this.
You coached for about 35 years or so in the National Football League, 2 head coaching stints. You were the Falcons coach. Sum up your 35 years or ever how many years it was in the NFL and what that meant to you and what it was like. I guess what you would say it was a roller coaster ride of success?
Well, I was pretty fortunate because in those days things have changed. Your resume was on film, and people watch film. This may surprise you. To this day, I've never applied for a job. And somebody would watch the film way back then. I was coaching the Detroit Lions, and Lehman Bennett became the coach at the Falcons. And he goes, let's find out about that guy. Let's get that guy. I was once at the Detroit Lions, and they said, Jerry, you can hire anybody you want on defense to come work with you. They don't do this anymore. I said, great. I'll take the guy at Chicago with the Bears. And the head coach said, who is this? I said, I have no idea. But he's doing things that are past being current. Today, we still do stuff that he taught me. So I was most fortunate I didn't realize how important really pro football was because I wasn't watching on TV, I was doing it.
You obviously were a very colorful coach on the sideline, and if anybody wants to be entertained, just go to YouTube and search Jerry Glanville, and I'm telling you, 60 minutes or more of absolute delight. I didn't see the clip I was looking for, but it was one of my favorite of all time when I think NFL Films did it. And you were with the Falcons, and you guys drafted Brett Favre. You referred to him as Mississippi, did you not?
Yeah.
And you had a running kind of a side bet joke going on with other coaches on his arm strength, right?
Well, he had great arm strength, and he was a tough guy. One time, Jimmy Johnson was with the Cowboys, and he said, Dad, tell me about Favre. Tell me about Favre. And I told him about him. He goes, I think you just described an offensive guard or a defensive tackle. But if your quarterback is that tough, that permeates through your team. Everybody thinks the Packers won a lot of games and Super Bowls, but his toughness and his mental I'm coming after you went through that team. When he left, that left. And he was a special, special guy, and his family got to meet his whole family while we had him.
Brett played recently in 2 golf tournaments here in the Mobile area in the last month. But you would, I guess, make a bet on how far he could throw a football up into the stands?
Well, when we went on the road, let's say we're going to play the L.A. Rams. We're going to play them on Sunday. Well, on Saturday, we did a walkthrough in the stadium. I actually showed our last game's highlights in the locker room. I wanted us on game day to feel like we were at home. It wasn't something new. And we had a quarterback named Billy Joe Tolliver. and Billy Joe Tolliver, he could throw the ball through a car wash. And the starting quarterback didn't get in on it. His arm wasn't like those two. So they would stop by a target and get these footballs with a whistle in them. So when you threw it, it sounded like a whistle blowing. And the team would line up and bet they would throw those footballs into the press box. Didn't matter what we, maybe Fire would get 5 in and Billy Joe 3 or whatever, and everybody would lay down a bet. I got Billy Joe on this one. Billy Joe's arm was as strong as Fire's, and that ball would, we'd hear it going. And if you ever been in a pro NFL stadium, that press box is a long ways up there. They could throw it up there.
You are dressed in your traditional black, and Sunday it's maybe Gary Player look. I don't know. It's the Jerry Glanville look. You've always liked the color black in
Well,
your
I wear
attire.
black for just one reason. It's not a color. Black's an attitude. So if you come watch us play here in town, we'll have on black headgears and black jerseys. And it's not a color, it's an attitude.
You guys will play 2 home games at Ladd Stadium. I'm wondering if you're going to leave tickets at Will Call for Elvis. That was kind of something you used to do back with the Oilers, right? Elvis never showed up, or maybe he did. I don't know.
Well, this year, we don't have to leave him tickets. He's on our coaching staff. He's coaching our defensive line, so come see him.
Have you seen the new movie Elvis yet? Or
I went and saw it, and I thought it was an unbelievable movie. They took 3 exceptions and didn't tell the truth. For instance, they had the colonel being fired on stage. Elvis was firing him while he was doing a concert. Well, that never happened. But I'd say 95% of it's true. You'd have to know who you are to know what wasn't true. Very good movie. I would not miss it. Even if you're not an Elvis fan, do not miss it. It's a great film.
Robert Brazil, of course, from our area, connected to the Houston Oilers. Robert in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And I told Robert a couple of days ago that I would be talking with you, and he said, make sure you get him a chance to talk to me. So call me when he's there. He was at the end, in the beginning for you, the end of his career. What do you think, Robert? When did you first find out about Robert Brazil, the player? Back at Jackson State? Or?
No, when we would go play the Oilers, Robert was not just a good guy. They were surrounded. One thing about Bum Phillips, Bum got players. And what surprised you about Robert, he was an outside linebacker, hips, could move, could take the curl, could take the wide, the flat. But he was huge. In the era that he played, we still had linebackers at 220, 215. I came from Detroit. Paul Newmoff was 214 at Detroit. I looked at Robert Brazil and I said, this is a linebacker? So it was a big man that could play a fast game.
All right, well, while you're here, you may want to get a chance to visit Pensacola Five Flag Speedway or Mobile International Speedway. I know you're a big race fan.
I drove a car here in Mobile when they had the Hooters Pro Cup came here, and me and Mario Goslow were racing here in Mobile, Alabama. I drove a car for 7 years, and believe it or not, I came over here and drove a race in Mobile, Alabama.
A lot of fun on that half-mile oval at Mobile International.
Well, it's high bank, so it's fast. When those flat ones are there, you got to be too patient. And if you're a football coach and you got patience, you're not going to win. So I needed a high bank because I don't have any patience.
All right, Jerry Glanville, the head coach of the Alabama Airborne from the Major Football League, the Upstart League that is coming up soon. Training camp underway at Ladd Peoples Stadium. The first game's coming up in the month of August. And it's been a pleasure talking with you, Jerry, and we'll look forward to seeing you here down the road as you guys work your way through this first season.
Well, you're my hero because anybody who's had the same job 43 years has not been a coach. But I wish I had a job for 43 years.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong to still have my job. All right, thanks, Jerry.